Luke chapter 7. A Roman commander has faith. Jesus finished saying all those things to the people. Then he entered Capernaum. There, the servant of a Roman commander was sick and about to die. His master thought highly of him. The commander heard about Jesus, so he sent some elders of the Jews to him. He told them to ask Jesus to come and heal his servant. They came to Jesus and begged him, "This man deserves to have you do this. He loves our nation and has built our synagogue." So Jesus went with them. When Jesus came near the house, the Roman commander sent friends to him. He told them to say, "Lord, don't trouble yourself. I am not good enough to have you come into my house. That is why I did not even think I was fit to come to you, but just say the word and my servant will be healed. I myself am a man who is under authority, and I have soldiers who obey my orders. I tell this one, go, and he does. I tell that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him. He turned to the crowd that was following him. He said, "I tell you, even in Israel, I have not found anyone whose faith is so strong." And the man who had been sent to Jesus returned to the house. He found that the servant was healed. Jesus raises a widow's son from the dead. Sometime later, Jesus went to a town called Nain. His disciples and a large crowd went along with him. He approached the town gate. Just then, a dead person was being carried out. He was the only son of his mother. She was a widow. A large crowd from the town was with her. When the Lord saw her, he felt sorry for her. So he said, "Don't cry." Then he went up and touched the coffin. Those carrying it stood still. Jesus said, "Young man, I say to you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to talk. Then Jesus gave him back to his mother. The people were all filled with wonder and praised God. "A great prophet has appeared among us," they said. "God has come to help his people." This news about Jesus spread all through Judea and the whole country. Jesus and John the Baptist. John's disciples told him about all these things, so he chose two of them. He sent them to the Lord. They were to ask Jesus, "Are you the one who is supposed to come, or should we look for someone else?" The man came to Jesus. They said, "John the Baptist sent us to ask you, are you the one who is supposed to come, or should we look for someone else?" At that very time, Jesus healed many people. They had illnesses, sicknesses, and evil spirits. He also gave sight to many who were blind. So Jesus replied to the messengers, "Go back to John. Tell him what you have seen and heard. Blind people receive sight. Disabled people walk. Those who have skin diseases are healed. Deaf people hear. Those who are dead are raised to life. And the good news is preached to those who are poor. Blessed are those who do not give up their faith because of me." So John's messengers left. Then Jesus began to speak to the crowd about John. He said, "What did you go out into the desert to see? Tall grass waving in the wind? If not, why did you go out to see? A man dressed in fine clothes? No. Those who wear fine clothes and have many expensive things are in palaces. Then what did you go out to see? A prophet. A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. He is the one written about in Scripture. It says, "I will send my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way for you." Malachi chapter 3 verse 1. I tell you, no one more important than John has ever been born, but the least important person in God's kingdom is more important than he is. All the people who heard Jesus' word agreed that God's way was right. Even the tax collectors agreed. These people had all been baptized by John, but the Pharisees and the authorities and the law did not expect God's perfect for themselves. They had not been baptized by John. "What can I compare today's people to?" Jesus asked. "What are they like? They are like children sitting in the marketplace and calling out to each other. They say, 'We played a flute for you, but you didn't dance. We sang a funeral song, but you didn't cry.' That is how it has been with John the Baptist. When he came to you, he didn't eat bread or drink wine. And you say, 'He has a demon.' But when the Son of Man came, he ate and drank as you do. And you say, 'This fellow is always eating and drinking far too much. He's a friend of tax collectors and sinners.' All who follow wisdom prove that wisdom is smart." A simple woman pours perfume on Jesus. One of the Pharisees invited Jesus to have dinner with him. So he went to the Pharisee's house. He took his place at the table. There was a woman in that town who had lived a sinful life. She learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house. So she came with a special sealed jar of perfume. She stood behind Jesus and cried at his feet. She began to wet his feet with her tears, and she wiped them with her hair. She kissed him and poured perfume on them. The Pharisees who had invited Jesus saw this. He said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would know who is touching me. He would know what kind of woman she is. She is a sinner." Jesus answered him, "Simon, I have something to tell you." "Tell me, teacher," he said. Two people owed money to a certain lender. One owed him 500 silver coins. The other owed him 50 silver coins. Neither of them had the money to pay him back. So he let them go without paying. Which of them will love him more? Simon replied, "I suppose the one who owed the most money." "You are right," Jesus said. Then he turned toward the woman. He said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I came into your house. You did not give me any water to wash my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You did not give me a kiss, but this woman has not stopped kissing my feet since I came in. You did not put any olive oil in my head, but she has poured perfume on my feet. But I tell you this, her many sins have been forgiven. She has loved a lot, but the one who has been forgiven little loves only a little." Then Jesus said to her, "Your sins are forgiven." The other guests began to talk about this among themselves. They said, "Who is this who even forgives sins?" Jesus said to the woman, "Your faith has saved you. Go in peace." Luke chapter 8. The story of the farmer. After this, Jesus traveled around from one town and village to another. He announced the good news of God's kingdom. The 12 were with him. Some were some women who had been healed of evil spirits and sicknesses. One was Mary Magdalene. 7 demons had come out of her. Another was Joanna, the wife of Chuza. He was the manager of Herod's household. Susanna and many others were there also. These women were helping to support Jesus and the 12 with their own money. A large crowd gathered together. People came to Jesus from town after town. As they did, he told a story. He said, "A farmer went out to plant his seed. He scattered the seed on the ground. Some fell on a path, people walked on it, and the birds of the air ate it up. Some seed fell on rocky places. When it grew, the plants dried up because they had no water. Other seed fell among thorns. The thorns grew up with it and crowded out the plants. Still, other seed fell on good soil. It grew up and produced a crop 100 times more than the farmer planted." When Jesus said this, he called out, "Those who have ears should listen." His disciples asked him what the story meant. He said, "You have been given a chance to understand the secrets of God's kingdom. But to outsiders, I speak by using stories. In that way, they see, but they will not know what they are seeing. They hear, but they will not understand what they are hearing." Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9. Here is what the story means. The seed is God's message. People on the path are those who hear, but then the devil comes. He takes away the message from their hearts. He does it so they won't believe it. Then they can't be saved. Those on the rock are the ones who hear the message and receive it with joy, but they have no roots. They believe for a while, but when they are put to their test, they fall away from the faith. The seed that fell among thorns stands for those who hear the message, but as they go on their way, they are choked by life's worries, riches, and pleasures, so they do not reach full growth. But the seed on good soil stands for those with an honest and good heart. They hear the message. They keep it in their hearts. They remain faithful and produce a good crop. A lamp on a stand. People do not light a lamp and then hide it in a jar or put it under a bed. Instead, they put it on a stand. Then those who come in can see its light. What is hidden will be seen, and what is out of sight will be brought into the open and made known. So be careful how you listen. If you have something, you will be given more. If you have nothing, even what you think you have will be taken away from you." Jesus' mother and brothers. Jesus' mother and brothers came to see him, but they cannot get near him because of the crowd. Someone told him, "Your mother and brothers are standing outside. They want to see you." He replied, "My mother and brothers are those who hear God's words and do what it says." Jesus calms a storm. One day, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's go over to the other side of the lake." So they got into a boat and left. As they sailed, Jesus fell asleep. A storm came down on the lake. It was so bad that the boat was about to sink. They were in great danger. The disciples went and woke Jesus up. They said, Master, Master, we're going to drown. He got up and ordered the wind and the huge waves to stop. The storm quieted down. It was completely calm. Where is your faith? He asked his disciples. They were amazed and full of fear. They asked one another, Who is this? He commands even the winds and the waves, and they obey him. Jesus heals a man controlled by demons. Jesus sent his disciples sail to the area of Gerasenes across the lake from Galilee. When Jesus stepped on the shore, he was met by a man from the town. The man was controlled by demons. For a long time he had not worn clothes or lived in a house. He lived in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell at his feet. He shouted at the top of his voice, Jesus, Son of the Most High God, what do you want with me? I beg you, don't hurt me. This was because Jesus had commanded the evil spirit to come out of the man. Many times the spirit had taken hold of him. His hands and feet were chained, and he was kept under guard. But he had broken his chains, and then the demon had forced him to go out into lonely places in the countryside. Jesus asked him, What is your name? Legion, he replied, because many demons had got into him. And he begged Jesus again and again not to order them to go into the abyss. A large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and he allowed it. When the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs. Then the herd rushed down the steep bank. They ran into the lake and drowned. Those who were tending the pigs saw what had happened. They ran off and reported it in the town and countryside. The people went out to see what had happened. Then they came to Jesus. They found a man who was now free of the demons. He was sitting at Jesus' feet. He was dressed and thinking clearly. All this made the people afraid. Those who had seen it told the others how the man who had been controlled by demons was now healed. Now all the people who lived in the area of Gerasenes asked Jesus to leave them. They were filled with fear, so he got into the boat and left. The man who was now free of the demons begged to go with him, but Jesus sent him away. He said to him, Return home and tell how much God has done for you. So the man went away. He told people all over town how much Jesus had done for him. A dying girl and a suffering woman. When Jesus returned, a crowd welcomed him. They were all expecting him. Then a man named Jairus came home. He was a synagogue ruler. He fell at Jesus' feet. He begged Jesus to come to his house. His only daughter was dying. She was about 12 years old. As Jesus was on his way, the crowds almost crushed him. A woman was there who had a sickness that made her bleed. Her sickness had lasted for 12 years. No one could heal her. She came up behind Jesus and touched the edge of his clothes. Right away, her bleeding stopped. Who touched me? Jesus asked. They all said they didn't do it. Then Peter said, Master, the people are crowding and pushing against you. But Jesus said, Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me. The woman realized that people would notice her. Shaking with fear, they came and fell at his feet. In front of everyone, she told why she had touched him. She also told how she had been healed in an instant. Then he said to her, Dear woman, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. While Jesus was still speaking, someone came from the house of Jairus. Jairus was the synagogue ruler. Your daughter is dead, the messenger said. Don't bother the teacher anymore. Hearing this, Jesus said to Jairus, Don't be afraid, just believe, she will be healed. When he arrived at the house of Jairus, he did not let everyone go in with him. He took only Peter, John, and James, and the child's father and mother. During this time, all the people were crying and sobbing loudly over the child. Stop crying, Jesus said. She is not dead, she is sleeping. They laughed at him. They knew she was dead. But he took her by the hand and said, My child, get up. Her spirit returned, and right away she stood up. Then Jesus told them to give her something to eat. Her parents were amazed, but Jesus ordered them not to tell anyone what had happened.